Hello, Dan. Hey, Cashbox Canada. Hey, Dan. Thanks for joining. Welcome to Musical Mondays. Where are we? March 6th, 2023. 2 days to International Women's Day. So, happy IWD Day a little early. Just going to tune up here. Wow. Changing air pressure clearly has made my guitar go out of tune. How's everybody doing tonight? You know, if you read my posts about what I was going to do tonight, you may be wondering, why is she tuning up her guitar? She's going to be talking about her voice. Well, because I often use my guitar to accompany my voice, so I want to have my guitar ready depending on what I want to do. And you know, I'm running late tonight. I just finished eating dinner, so I'm not sure how well that's going to go with singing because I have a pretty full tummy at the moment. But you know what? This is an adventure. Musical Mondays is always an adventure. Hey, Big Man Bernie, thanks for joining. Or Big Man 67. Sorry, Bernie. Thanks for joining. Giving away your real name there. Sorry. Yeah, so I wanted to focus on my voice a little bit in this episode, and I'm gonna cough. Excuse me. Because you know, I'm often, as a singer-songwriter, I'm often focused on the songs or the guitar. Oh, good, thanks, Bernie. And I don't talk about my voice that often. I've had episodes that have focused on the lyrics or on specific songs. Last week I had Aaron Trory as a guest. That was amazing. I loved it. And I thought, yeah, let's focus on the voice. So, because what would I say I am first? You know, I don't know if I'm a singer first. Am I a singer first? Am I a songwriter first? Am I definitely not a guitarist first? It's really hard for me to kind of tease apart the different parts of my identity. I kind of feel like the singer-songwriter goes together for me. As I've gotten older, I do think about my voice as I'm writing songs more often than I used to when I was younger. I was just kind of, I don't know if I was being intentional. I was probably going more with instinct when I was younger. But I definitely go with intention, or I do intentional things when I write now and think about my vocal range and what I'm trying to convey. I wouldn't say I have totally moved away from being instinctual as a writer and as an artist. So that's still there. I guess, I'm just going to own it. I am a singer-songwriter. It's really hard for me to tease apart the two, my voice from what I do as a songwriter. So, talking about my voice a little bit, it's funny when some people hear my speaking voice, which when I'm not live streaming or, when I'm not performing or on stage, my voice can be kind of a little gravelly. You might not be getting that right now because I actually am projecting and using my breath and air really well. I'll try and do it, but sometimes I just kind of talk like this. So if I'm talking normally, I get kind of this croaky voice. And so people will say to me, wow, like your talking voice is so different from your singing voice. My natural singing voice, I am a soprano naturally, And pretty high soprano. Naturally, I guess what you would call a descant soprano. I can really hit those high notes if I want to. I don't often do it in my own music. Having said that, my most recent single, what am I talking about? Reprieve. I released a live version of Reprieve just a week ago, and that song, the original version of that song, does explore the upper regions of my range. And it was really fun to sing that and record that song, because I don't often do that. I don't often go up that high. My sister was asking me after she listened to the live version of the song, like, what note was that? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, actually. I should figure out what note it was. But yeah, so that's kind of the higher part of my range happening in that song. So that's Reprieve. I'll just sing a little bit. In the dark, dark night, look real hard and you'll find the light. It's a hand reaching for you amidst the dim chaos and sin. It's the best they can do. Just pray tonight they take another life instead. When you wake in the morning, you'll be in your bed. The altar of life arranged around your heart. Green, green light. So there was a verse and a chorus of Reprieve, and it kind of goes through a bit of my vocal range. The verse is the middle part of my range. In the dark, dark night. So it's pretty easy for me to sing at that range. And then there's a part that the start of the chorus is a bit more challenging for me, because it kind of crosses the break point of my voice a little bit. And for those of you that sing, you may also experience a break point, but for me it's between my chest voice and my head voice. And in terms of physically, there's something that happens where the mechanism of how I sing shifts. And if I'm singing a line or something that kind of, skirts along that break point, it can be a bit challenging to sing. So I don't know whether you caught that in the song. And then as I get to the end of the chorus of that song, it goes into more of the upper part of my range. But again, it could go quite a bit higher than that. So that's a little bit about vocal range. I think I was also thinking I might talk about some of my tips and tricks as a singer, and some of the practices that I have. So in terms of warm-up, sometimes I'm not good at warming up. I admit that. I will just start singing and let my body and my voice warm up over a song or two. And, you know, maybe that's not the best practice, but sometimes that's what I do, which is what I just did now as I started the show tonight. When I do play live, hey, Andrew Rogers Music, thanks for joining. When I do play live, I do often do a vocal warm-up. And it's something that I've done for decades. I think it's the original vocal warm-up that I did with one of my voice teachers way back when, and it's basically a lot of breathing, so doing a lot of breath work, and just kind of getting my breath kind of lowered, like down from up in my head and into my chest and into my diaphragm. So doing kind of box breathing is a good way to do that, where you breathe in on the count of 4, you pause for the count of 4, and you breathe out on the count of 4, and then repeat. And that really has, it's a good way of slowing everything down and slowing the breathing down and kind of getting it really centered in the chest and the abdomen. And I do, so I do that, and I do some vocal things too. So I will do so I'll do little like swoops with my voice and try and kind of touch different parts of my range. So I'll go from low to high, from high to low, or I'll start middle and go up and then down, and just do stuff like that. I tend to do some facial movements too, and I've recently actually started practicing face yoga with a singer-songwriter out of Ontario, M. Greiner. She's fantastic, but she's a certified face fitness and face yoga coach, so things that I have dabbled in, I'm actually learning about now. So just more so now, and just bringing some flexibility into the muscles around the throat and the mouth and the jaw and the rest of the face really helps me if I'm about to start singing. And you know, I'm not so much of a person that needs to be alone before I perform or sing. I know that some folks that I've spoken to, they like to kind of get into their own zone and be alone, but I'm very much an extrovert and a people person. So being around other people is actually okay for me, as long as I have, even if it's just like 5 to 10 minutes to do some breathing and vocal warm-ups, that helps me get set. So I talked a little bit at the opening about tools, and the guitar is a tool for me for singing, of course. It's kind of my go-to tool. And I brought another prop to show you. The very first piece of equipment I bought, I think it was even before I bought my first guitar when I was on my own. So maybe that does make me more identified as a singer, if the first thing I bought was a microphone. So, and it's your, die-hard vocal mic, a Shure SM58. The screen on this one's gotten a little dented over the years, but I've had this mic for probably, 30 years or something. It's a great mic. I still use it. I love the heft of it, but I'm often not holding it when I sing. It's often in a stand in front of my mouth. So the Shure SM58, it's a great live vocal mic. I know some of you are recording engineers and might have things to say about this mic, so if you have anything to share with others about a Shure SM58, happy to hear it in the chat. So that's one of my tools. Another tool that I might use is water when I sing, or tea, hot tea, but it's most often water. Like when I'm performing, I just have a glass of water on the stage, because it can be quite a, singing can be quite a vigorous workout, especially singing live. When I do my live streams, I'm sitting right now, but I prefer to sing when I'm standing. I just, it gives good flow for air and energy through the kind of breathing area of my body and the muscular area through the diaphragm and stuff. But I am sitting tonight. So the live streams can be a workout too for singing, depending on what I'm doing, but definitely a live in-person performance is it can be quite the workout for me. So having a big glass of water nearby is a great thing. And what else can I share with you about singing? Yeah, it's funny to kind of think about this. And when I thought, oh, I want to do something about my voice and singing, I was thinking, what am I going to talk about? But it's like, as I sit here and think about it, it's actually, I've got lots to say about it. Yeah, so please put some questions in the chat. Okay, Dan's saying, I think you hit the A just below high C in Reprieve, but I could be wrong. Okay, so in the recorded version, in the live version that you listened to, did you just go and listen to it to figure that out? Thanks, Dan. That's amazing. So the A just below the high C. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. I will tell my sister. Yeah, so when I started the show, right, so we've talked about the break point of my voice. I've talked about being a soprano. And I talked a little bit about how I've used my voice has changed over the years, or I've gone through different phases in how I've used it. Some of the songs that I wrote when I was younger, and I'll play a little bit of one. This one is called This Is Not Religious, and I did some octaves in this one where I would sing, kind of throw my voice between octaves. Jumping around a bit. That one's a fun one to sing too, because I can really push those big sounds through the words. And then in contrast, my song Coda, which was off my last album. It's almost spoken word the way I wrote the verses. I'm really not going very far through my range. How can I lay me down to sleep? Forget the day and let dreams carry me away, and I may spill into day, covering up my hopes, scaring love away. When the light goes out in your eyes. So, and you can hear there in the chorus, I was going across my break point, and I wasn't quite ready for it. I don't know if you caught that little squeak. When the light goes out in your eyes. So that was a little smoother. So you might think, why did she write that way? I don't know, there's just something about that progression and that line. I love the melody. But you know, sitting down in a chair with a full tummy is not conducive to navigating the break point in your voice really well. So I'm glad actually that happened, because that's a good illustration of that. Yeah, so you can hear in how I wrote the verse in that song. It's very much what's that? Oh, Dan, that's more about the note, the A just below high C. Okay, cool, thank you. Yeah, so you know, there's a little bit about the voice. So there's lots of angles of talking about singing and how I sing and how I use my voice that I didn't touch on. So I might do another episode focused on the voice, maybe next week, maybe the week after. I'm not sure yet. I have a couple of things coming up in future episodes. I'm going to have a couple more guests coming up. I've got a music video coming out soon for Carrier Hotel, so I'll be talking about that. And I'll actually have John Flatman, the videographer, on the show too. But definitely I want to do another deep dive into singing, because I would like to talk about more about kind of expression and using the voice for expression. And yeah, so there it is. I'll figure it out. I'll think about that. But yeah, I would like to talk about that a little bit and kind of break down maybe a couple of songs and have a look at not just the notes I'm singing, but how I'm singing them, and thinking about tone and timbre and shape and all of those things. So that'd be super fun. And you know what would be totally fun is to have another singer on with me. That would be lots of fun. So I might do that at some point. So yeah, we're just about at the 23-minute mark, so I'm going to sign off now. And wish you all a great week, and thanks for joining and listening tonight. And yeah, take good care, and hopefully we'll see you next week. All right.